Hey, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about what you need in order to use this device right here. Now, this should be some universal advice for pretty much any loop station, but this is going to be specifically for the Boss RC-505, MK1, and MK2. So you're going to need some things besides this device itself in order to use this to its full potential, or even at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into 3 different categories, and each one of those categories is going to have 5 different things that you will need in order to use this device. Let's jump straight into the first thing that you're going to need besides the loop station, and that is the power cable. So obviously you're going to need a power cable, and your loop station should have come with a power cable. Now these specific ones have, I guess, a weird polarity to them, or it's like negatively something. I'm not 100% sure how these are different from other power cables, but they apparently are. So if you lose this, or it breaks, or you need another one, double check to make sure that it is compatible with this device, because not every DC cable will actually work, because again, it's something dealing with the polarity or something, like it being reversed than most devices. Alright, we have our first thing that we need. Let's move on to the next item on our list, and that would be a microphone. Yeah, you're going to need to be able to input sound into this device somehow. So you're going to get yourself a microphone. Now, this can be whatever instrument that you are going to be plugging into this thing. It doesn't have to be a microphone per se. Your guitar, your synth, your whatever, your ukulele, whatever you're plugging into this thing, you're going to need that instrument in order to do anything to this. You need some way to input sound in the real world into digital information for this device. My instrument is my voice, so I have a microphone. The microphone that I'm using is the Audio-Technica, the AT2005 USB. This is an amazing microphone, one of the best ones for beatboxing specifically. You can even plug your own headphones into the microphone and hear yourself, which is pretty wild. But yeah, this thing it's really, really sweet. It takes a lot of abuse. I've beaten the crap out of this thing. Yeah, I've really put a number on this. The next thing that you're going to need is a cable to plug your instrument into the device. So, like I said, since my instrument is a microphone, I have an XLR cable. This is a really, really awesome XLR cable that I have here that I got from Planet Waves. They have a lifetime warranty on their cables. In any case, you need any cable to be able to plug your instrument into your device. So, since mine's a microphone, I get an XLR cable that plugs straight into. Alright, we have half the holes that we need plugged in order for you to hear me a lot better. We have our instrument plugged in, we have our power. Let's move on to the next thing that you're going to need. The next cable that you're going to need, this is getting really cumbersome with all these wires. Oh my god! The next thing that you're going to need is a headphone cable. You're going to need to be able to plug in some way to be able to hear yourself, otherwise all your information is just going to be on the device, silently blasting away, having a party without you, which is really sad. So you're going to want to participate in that party by getting yourself some type of headphone cables. The headphone cables that your headphones came with may or may not work. I want you to notice that there are different number of black lines on each one of these. So depending on how you're plugging into your device, that will actually determine the quality of the sound that you are hearing. I talk about this more in my glitches and issues video about how to fix problems with the loop station. I haven't filmed that one yet, but it will be out very soon. You're also most likely going to need one of these adapters, because if you have one of these small aux cord jacks, it's not going to actually plug in. Even though there is a aux cord jack in here for input, that is input, not output. You need to be able to hear yourself and put something out. So you're going to probably need one of these little adapters too, that just plugs onto the end of one of these, and then you can plug this into your loop station that way. So if you have regular headphone cables, probably not going to work, but if you have your adapter, that is what you're going to need. And finally, on your needs list, you're going to need a pair of headphones. You don't have to get ones that are as goofy as this and light up. I mean, that's pretty cool. You should probably get these. But in any case, you're going to need just a pair of headphones. Some headphones have a cable built into it, like the little just earbud ones. Those are fine. You don't have to get like super fancy $800 headphones. Just any pair of headphones to be able to hear yourself and hear your beautiful work should work just fine. But once you have your headphones, you can plug those in to the loop station, and then you can start hearing yourself. But unfortunately, you can't hear me yet. But that's going to change in the next section. Alright, so now we're in the should have section. These are things that you don't necessarily 100% need in order to use this device, but these are things that you definitely should have if you want to actually use this device to at least 50% its potential. So the first thing is going to be some good speakers. You're going to want to be able to hear yourself more than just outside your own head with earmuffs on, because your sound quality is going to be much different. You're going to be able to learn how room acoustics affect your sound, how it plays out live. You can bring your speakers with you to different gigs or different environments, and just having a really good pair, like a really good set of speakers is going to elevate your sound to the next level. If you're curious to what speakers that I use for my loop station and bring around to my gigs, is the Edifier M3200 series. This speaker is really, really awesome, has some really good bass to it, and the speakers are really, really high quality. So the next thing that you're going to need, and you may already have this, is some speaker cables. Now for me, I just use my headphone cables and plug those in to the speakers that I just showed you, and just listen to it that way. It's a lot more convenient. It's less cables that I can have around. I can just swap to headphones if I'm playing later at night. But you can also get yourself some actual like speaker cables, and these are going to give you a higher quality sound. If you're doing like bigger gigs, more important stuff, unlike me, you can definitely use these. I just have them just to have them, but you can also do what I do and just use headphone cables to plug into your speakers. But having some actual speaker cable is it could be helpful one day. Next thing that you should have is a computer or a laptop or some type of device in order to record and edit your sound. And with that computer, you are going to want a USB cable. A USB cable is the way that you are going to be able to hear me talk into this device at a much higher quality sound than you are hearing right now. So the one that I have here is a USB-B cable. It looks a lot different than your normal USB cable, but you're going to need this specific kind, not this specific brand necessarily, but this USB-B cable, so then you can plug this end into the loop station. Both the MK1 and MK2 use the same cable, and then this end goes into your computer, so then you can actually hear the sounds that are going into the device. Let's plug this bad boy in. Let's up the quality of this video, shall we?
Whew! Alright, this sounds much better. But I have to be able to record this on my computer, so how do I do that? Well, you're going to need a DAW, a DAW or digital audio workstation. What that is any software on the computer that you have that will capture and record the sounds that you are producing. And it doesn't matter if it's going through the microphone actively or being played back on the loop station. And your DAW can be any recording software that you want. If you want a free software, Audacity is a good program that a lot of loopers will use to record their works. You can even do some EQing and some basic editing. If you want the program that I use this program here, which is called Adobe Audition. You can see that I am currently recording. Ooh! Well, that's cool. Anyways, so this allows me to do a little more granular edits, and I just like this program a lot better than Audacity. But this is a paid program, so if you want a free one, Audacity works really, really well too. But this is a really awesome program as well. All right, so that is the 5 things that you definitely should have if you want to own a loop station. You're good to go. You can use this loop station to pretty much its full potential. But with that said, there's some things that you're probably going to want to have if you want to own a loop station to get that real 100% satisfaction. The things that you're going to definitely want to have are things to clean your loop station with and your microphone with. Things like a microfiber cloth would be a very useful thing to have, and just to be able to wipe this thing down. I do have a tutorial on how to clean your loop station already out. So if you want to learn how to clean it and what chemicals to use and what chemicals not to use, definitely check out that tutorial. You're also going to need a toothbrush or some type of brush. I actually use a camel hair or horsehair shoe polish brush to clean my stuff now. You're not really using a brush to clean your loop station, but you will need it to clean your microphone. And then the other thing to clean it with is going to be toy cleaner. And again, I talk about all this stuff in my How to Clean Your Loop Station tutorial. The second to last thing that you're going to want to have is a case to hold your loop station in. So this thing behind me and the thing that appears in almost every single one of my videos is a case that I personally built. Mine here is made out of aircraft aluminum, so it is really, really hard and sturdy, and the inside of it is made of a foam. It's just a toolbox foam that I can make sure that I have all my pieces before I head out for a show or a gig. You don't have to go full out and have some aircraft military grade like case with a custom sticker that you made and paint job and all that stuff. Even just like a black bag that can hold your things. Another key word that if you want to go fancy like this, but you don't have maybe the skills or the finances to be able to build your own, is going to be a Pelican case. So if you look up Pelican case, those are really good cases that you can use to hold your loop station as well. They have little foam inserts that you can kind of pull out and fit your stuff in, similar to how mine is set up. Some type of case to be able to travel and keep your loop station in when you're not using it for long term. Last thing that you're going to want to have is actually a cord. I call it Freedon's Secret Cord. And this is a way to power your device outside of your house. So if you're performing gigs out in public or on the streets or at different venues that may or may not have the outlet, you're going to want to be able to have a power source to be able to power this thing. You can use Freedon's Secret Cord to actually power the device. Again, this is a very specific kind of cord because of the way the electronics work, but you're going to want to get this specific kind of cord, or at least one that has a negative polarity to it. I'm personally not using it, but it is definitely something that you will want to have if you're going to be doing gigs outside of on the streets or in public or any type of really public gig. And that's it. That is 15 different things that you need, should have, or want to have for your loop station in order to get its full potential out there. There's some other stuff that you can get or make, like for example, like an actual like bag to hold your cables in, or your sheet music, or your notes for your shows. Things like a microphone stand is a stand that just came with this microphone here that I used to use, but I don't really use much anymore. Things like the table to be able to hold your loop station on while you're doing performances. Mine, I just use my magic case that I perform with to hold it on, because I'm doing magic shows, not loop station shows. So I just use that. Might need some colorful hair, or extra chains and zippers to make it look like you know what you're doing. There are other extraneous stuff that you could use. A tripod too, if you were going to film, a camera if you're going to film your performances and stuff like that. But I hope you found this list helpful in your loop station journeys. Like I said, it is fairly universal. I made this video specifically for the Boss RC-505, but a lot of the same stuff you're going to need to operate other loop stations in general. You're going to need power. You're going to need your instrument. Hopefully this will help you with budgeting as well, trying to figure out pricing for things you're going to need, because you're going to need more than just the loop station, which again is already a pretty expensive device. So definitely keep these things in mind when you're budgeting for your next project, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.